is the name of the piece I'm going to be playing next. Well, what does it mean? I simply juxtaposed the words short and composition to give you Shcomp. I did that because I want to talk about short or small compositions and the role that they play in the development of musicians. But let's first hear the piece. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Most musical compositions have a structure containing some differing and some repeating elements. This structure is usually referred to as the form of the composition. On the other hand, there are different kinds of compositions based on whether you're using instruments alone, or you're using instruments with voice, or using voices alone. And then again, we have so many different genres of music in which we get to see the application of these forms. Let me go back to discussing the structure of a musical composition that has some differing and some repeating elements, all of which have to come together to give the listener a sense of starting, then setting it up, before developing it or elaborating it, or simply moving along, and then starting to wind down before finally concluding, such that the listener feels a sense of completeness, a wholesome experience, much like listening to a story or watching a play. Now, it's not just enough to know the elements, but also many times to know the relationships between them. Let me take the example of a sample composition form usually used in lyrical songs that has an intro followed by multiple number of verse-chorus combinations followed by an outro. Here we get to see the relationship of the intro element moving into the verse element moving into the chorus either moving back to the verse or the chorus moving forwards towards the outro. So hence, 4 different relationships in all. Now for some student who's really keen on learning this song form well, the smallest possible structure that contains not only all the elements but also all the relationships is what I would like to call as a short composition. Now in our example, that would mean the intro followed by the first verse-chorus combination followed by just one more verse-chorus combination instead of having multiple of those, and followed by an outro. Now this setup would display not only all the elements but also all the 4 different relationships. I'd like to conclude by noting that short compositions can get a bit tricky for a couple of reasons. First, to achieve a sense of completeness, that is, a sense of starting, setting it up, developing, winding down, and then concluding, all in a short span of time, requires some skill. Secondly, to get the listener to appreciate and identify the various elements again in a short span of time, and also convey a smooth transition between the elements, also requires some practice. Now the main advantage of a short composition is that as it takes a lesser or smaller amount of time to create, you can compose a large number of such compositions and get really fluent with all the elements and understanding all the relationships between them, and go on to build bigger and larger compositions.